What's going on, guys? We are back finally with the much requested Cold Talker deck. Playmaker's archetype didn't get all of the love that it could have before the update, but now we receive tons of good support for the deck. We're still missing the best boss monster, Access Cold Talker, but we did get a lot of the essential Cold main deck monsters as well as the last of the Cold Talker Link monsters. This deck may look like it's all over the place at first glance, but all of the one-ofs are based on their attribute as they are searchable by our main spell card Signet Codex. Getting to this card is probably the most important goal of this deck as it lets you search a Cyberse monster each time you summon a Cold Talker with that specific attribute. This is very important for getting all of your link materials to go into multiple link summons in one turn. All of the essential Cyberse monsters that help get us rolling are at higher ratios such as Lady the Bug, who can search Microcode the search of any Signet spells and traps. Balancer Lord, Widget Kid, and Cyberse Gadget help provide additional summons and materials for link summons as well. The small Solomon Great Engine is also helpful with providing materials as Gazelle being special summoned from your hand can send Spinny or Foxy for another monster. For the Cold Talker lineup, we're sticking with the best one, so sadly the All-Star the Cold Talker isn't here, as his markers and effect do not synergize well with the others. Cold Talker is very important here as with Codec, his attribute allows you to search Microcoder. From there, Trans Cold Talker is the next most important for his revival effect. I rarely go into the new shooting Cold Talker, but it is pretty nice at clearing boards to make room for your other links to go for lethal. Since we run so many links capable of forming extra links, cards like Trigate Wizard and Crusadia Armamax are too good to pass up to get some extra power. I did try out Cyberse Reminder as a rank 3 XC monster, but its effects didn't come up for me, so you can replace it with something else if you like. Getting Signet Codec, Microcoder, and another monster or two would be the ideal goal for this deck, as from there you can usually send out quite a few link monsters. Going first, I'd say setting up a decent board with Trigate Wizard is a good goal, but there is one duel where I go into an extra link board. It isn't as scary now with the Master Rule Vision, but it can still slow some decks down by preventing them from link summoning. Signet Conflict is another good searchable trap that can provide a negation for your board. All in all, this deck is meant to combo heavy and overwhelm your opponent with the strongest link summons you can make. The way the replay is playing out on screen is how you want the beginning of most of your turns to look like. With Codec already in our hand, we can start link summoning and searching multiple times to keep advancing our board state. Microcoder and Code Generator can be used from the hand so they can get you out of tight spots if you run out of materials on the field, and they'll also net you some searches. I always try to go Cold Talker followed by Transcode to revive Cold Talker, to then go into X Cold Talker. I did try something different here as I wanted a more defensive board than usual, however. Since we already had Codec and an additional normal summon from Balancer Lord, I decided to search Signet Conflict instead of Optimization. Instead of summoning X Cold Talker first, we are going to go into Inverted to make better use of our link markers for our final board. Cold Talker Inverted has the light attribute, so he can get some pretty nice searches from the deck. I did forget that I had an additional normal summon at this point, so Cyberse Gadget is usually a good search here, as it can provide 3 link materials between both of his effects after his normal summon. And that's not even counting the monster you special summon with Inverted. This is the part where your searches and material usage become crucial and can determine how you end your board, as I did mess up here occasionally while learning the deck. When using Code Generator from the hand, your main 2 options to send to the graveyard are Dotscaper and Sea Archiver. If he is on the field, he can add a Cyberse monster to your hand instead, and depending on the rest of your hand, I like to either search more materials or possibly Prohibit Snake for defense or Code Radiator for next turn's offensive. Code Radiator is probably one of the coolest cards in this deck, as it can completely shut down opponent monsters by negating their effects and dropping their attack to 0 if it's used as a link material, so always keep it in your mind as an out to tough situations or for lethal. We're still getting all of our summons out, so things are going well, but do keep in mind that if the opponent had a Nebro in hand, we will most definitely be screwed beyond repair. We can now go into X Cold Talker for those nice markers right in the middle, and Inverted has finished serving his purpose on the field, so we will be using it to shift our link presence to the right side of the field now. Our link materials are winding down a little now, but luckily we can make use of Sea Archiver in the grave, and the free special summon from Link Infosolar. While an extra link board could have been possible, as I mentioned before, it isn't as effective as it used to be, so we are going to go for a stronger board that is even harder to break through. Using Inverted as a material, we can go into Trigate Wizard, which I think is mandatory in one of the zones beneath the extra monster zone. Getting 2 monsters co-linked to it can get you a free banish, while 3 can grant you a negate, so we are going to focus on that while also being defended by Crusadia Avamax. X-Code Talker also has a nice secondary effect to prevent its marker monsters from being destroyed by card effects, which also helps. Avramax forces the opponent to attack him and cannot be targeted by effects, so getting him out is a crucial part in most of your boards for offensive and defensive purposes. We do have that last normal summon that I did forget about, so we can now use it to get that last link material to help link with Trigate Wizard into that last marker. Had that monster been Cyber's gadget, we could have even gotten more out, but for now we'll end on Link Disciple, who we're pretty much just using for the mark. With this, we have 2 negates, Wizard being immune to destruction, and Avramax being immune to targeting, and our opponent has to get through him before he can attack our other monsters as well. There's definitely potential for stronger boards and even more support that hasn't been released for the deck yet, but this is a good starting point for you to get an idea of how the deck operates. That's it from me though guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of the replays and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time.